Clarissa Byers is an aspiring actress acting as a waitress in a movie with famous actor Chad Hunter. At the opening scene, one of the makeup artists asks Clarissa if she is nervous about her small scene with Chad, and she says she isn't. But during the scene, she accidentally spills coffee all over Chad, disrupting the scene and making a mess. She also loses the job for her mistake, and complains to her agent Jeanette that she embarrassed herself in front of two of the hottest actors in Hollywood at the moment. Jeanette reassures her that the leading actress is a diva, and Chad Hunter is all beauty, but no brains, and would probably never remember who she was. Clarissa is not convinced. She was hoping that the part in the movie would lead her to something bigger, and now she is upset that she's ruined the opportunity. Jeanette then proceeds to say that Clarissa is still young, and even though she doesn't have the beauty standard of Hollywood, she's still beautiful and talented. Clarissa tries to feel more confident in her abilities, and Jeanette offers her another audition in a commercial on Friday at 2. Clarissa can't go because she's going back home to her best friend's bridal shower. She's the maid of honor and can't miss it. In the following scene, Clarissa finds out that her best friend, Maya, has demoted her to a co-maid of honor because she is always busy with work and isn't able to help organize the wedding as she should. Clarissa is upset and tells Maya that she was fired that day twice, for the acting job and as a maid of honor. Maya comforts Clarissa by saying that she still wants her there at her side, and that she's like family to her. Clarissa reluctantly agrees and says that it's good that someone else is helping Maya with the wedding arrangement. Maya's fiancé Pete appears, and they joke with each other about his age. He's 6 years older than Maya. Then, Maya asks Clarissa how she got fired, and Clarissa tells her she spilled coffee over Chad Hunter and Stella Sommer. Maya reassures Clarissa that everything happens for a reason. Clarissa thanks her and tells them that she's looking forward to going back home. Clarissa also works as a waitress at a cafe, and surprisingly Chad Hunter is there. Clarissa greets him, but Chad doesn't look happy to see her. He suddenly leaves saying that he is at the wrong place. She goes after him to confront him, and catches his conversation on his phone in which he says he doesn't like the menu there. Clarissa tells him he didn't even check the menu, and he gives an excuse, but she's not taking it. She thinks that he left because he's afraid she's going to spill coffee on him again. Chad is surprised at her behavior, especially when she insults him. They argue some more, and when Clarissa turns to leave, Chad makes a joke that coffee is better in a cup than in someone's shirt, which upsets her. When she goes back to the cafe, her co-worker, Melody, asks her if she and Chad are a thing because she saw a picture of them together. Clarissa is confused, but tells Melody it isn't her in the picture. Melody doesn't believe her. In the next scene, Clarissa goes back home to Conway. Her first stop is at the bridal shower, and her other friends, Kelly and Veronica, are excited to see her, but then they start asking questions about Chad, which makes Clarissa uncomfortable. Thankfully, Maya saves her from the two girls, and tells Clarissa that she didn't tell anyone she was fired from her job with Chad. As the bridal shower goes on, the women keep asking her about Chad Hunter, but Clarissa refuses to answer. She wants to talk about Maya and her wedding. After some time, she meets Pete and Graham, an old friend of hers. Graham is looking good, he's lost weight and has a successful career. As Graham and Clarissa are talking, Kelly appears and kisses Graham on the cheek. They are in a relationship, and it surprises Clarissa. Kelly wants to leave with Graham, but he wants to catch up with Clarissa. Kelly is jealous and suggests they go back outside to the party. Again, the women talk about Clarissa and which famous actor she has dated, which is none. Then they proceed to talk about her career, and Clarissa tries to give excuses so she doesn't tell them she was fired. Unfortunately for her, Veronica finds the picture of Chad Hunter with some woman who looks like Clarissa, and shares it with everyone, claiming it's Clarissa. She tries to deny it, but as they keep insisting, she ends up confirming she's dating him. Kelly and Veronica then say they are excited for him to come to the wedding, and Clarissa tries to come up with more excuses as to why he can't come. In the middle of the conversation, Clarissa's parents appear and hear what they are talking about. Clarissa is surprised and uncomfortable. She tells her parents they are going to go home because she's exhausted. Before she leaves, Meyer asks her if it's true that she's dating Chad or if she just said that so she didn't have to explain she got fired. Instead of telling the truth, Clarissa insists she's really dating Chad, and that she couldn't say anything because it's a secret. Meyer is upset that Clarissa didn't tell her she was dating, and Clarissa is upset that Maya didn't tell her that Graham and Kelly were dating. They both apologize to each other and end up on good terms again. Meyer asks Clarissa to not keep any more secrets between them, and Clarissa agrees. What Clarissa doesn't know is that Kelly and Veronica are spreading online that she's Chad Hunter's secret girlfriend. Back at the parents' house, her mother questions her about Chad Hunter and all the fanfare she's getting. Clarissa is confused with that, and when she asks her mother what she means, her mom shows her a gossip article saying that she's the mystery girl dating Chad. Clarissa is anxious when she sees it. In the following scene, Chad is confronted by his ex-girlfriend and publicist Susie, who is mad at the news that he's been dating another girl. But Chad is really confused and tells her the girl is just some girl he worked with and got fired. He doesn't even like her. Susie is jealous, though she's married. They have an affair though, and Susie has the idea of using Clarissa as a fake girlfriend to keep the media from suspecting their relationship. The plan is to dump Clarissa in public and to defame her for the media as an opportunist. At first, Chad isn't willing, but Susie convinces him that it's for the best for them, and that Clarissa will also be rewarded with bad press. When Clarissa returns to Los Angeles, a bunch of paparazzi are waiting for her at the airport and people are taking pictures of her. There's even a news reporter doing a news coverage about her and Chad. Even at her job at the cafe, there are paparazzi taking pictures of her. Melody confronts her about her lie that they weren't dating, but Clarissa again denies it by saying he doesn't want anything to do with her. To her shock, Chad actually appears at the cafe, and Clarissa tries to apologize to him for the misunderstanding. Chad asks her if she told people that it was her in the picture, and she admits she didn't correct people when they asked because she didn't want to tell them she was fired. Chad is confused about why she lied, and Clarissa tries to excuse her behavior by saying that her friends like to create fantasies in their heads. Chad argues that they aren't the only ones, to which Clarissa says she can clear up the lie if that's what he wants. But Chad has his own plans and he needs Clarissa's help. He tells Clarissa the plan to break up with her in public, and when she wonders why, he says that no one could know who really was in the picture with him, because it would destroy his and the woman's career. People needed to believe it was Clarissa. She's skeptical at first, because she doesn't want to be known as the girl who was dumped by Chad. She wants to be known as a great actress. When Chad asks her what she wants then, Clarissa says that they have to break up amicably, and no one can be humiliated. Chad agrees and tells her they need to do it that weekend, but Clarissa can't because of the wedding. Next, Clarissa has the idea of doing the fake breakup at the wedding, and though Chad doesn't want to, he accepts. Clarissa gives him the address and her number, asking him not to embarrass her. As they stand to leave, Clarissa drops his bill on the floor, and as he gets on his knees to get it, people think he's proposing and start cheering for them. Chad takes the opportunity to announce they are getting married, and Clarissa says it's the best day of her life. In the following scene, Clarissa and Chad are driving to her hometown and discussing how people can believe they are engaged so easily. Chad tells her that this is a typical Hollywood story, with love and breakup. Next, they get their story straight so no one doubts them. In Chad's story, they had met on set, she spilled coffee on him and offered to pay for his dry cleaning. When he called to collect the clothes, she asked him out. Clarissa doesn't like his version, because she wouldn't ask him out. He asks her what her version would be like, and she tells him she doesn't know because they don't really know each other. So Chad tries to guess what her life was like. A girl who grew up in a small town and always wanted more in life. She watched chick flicks and wanted to be the next Julia Roberts, so she saved money and moved to Los Angeles. Clarissa tells him he got it partly right, with the exception that she went to college and studied communications because she didn't think she could be an actress. She also moved in with her mother for a year to help her when she had cancer, and she almost didn't get to Los Angeles because her car broke down and she didn't have money to fix it. Chad is surprised with her story and apologizes. Now it was Clarissa's turn to guess his life story. She thinks he had rich parents that put him into acting since he was a toddler, and he managed to be a child actor in a show called Cool Times. But when it ended, he wanted to break out of that childhood image he had. To do that, he did a movie acting as a psycho preteen, which made his childhood fanbase reject him. That didn't go well with his career, so he has been trying to return to that perfect boy image. But it's difficult because it isn't who he is. Clarissa actually gets his story right, with the exception of the rich parents, which upsets him a bit, but she comforts him by saying that no one is perfect. They get to know each other better. Chad tells Clarissa that he has 3 siblings and that he doesn't get along with his family, only with his aunt, who put him into acting. Clarissa understands him a little better, and the rest of the ride is amicable. When they arrive at the rehearsal dinner, Clarissa tells Chad her friends call her Riz, and to watch out for Kelly and Veronica. Then, Chad gives her his aunt's engagement ring, a beautiful ring that Chad helps Clarissa put on. Clarissa is affected by the gesture. As they enter the restaurant where the party is, everyone is shocked that Chad Hunter is there. Kelly and Veronica are really excited, and Graham is a bit bothered. Clarissa introduces him to everyone and says they all went to school together, except for Pete. Kelly catches sight of Clarissa's ring, and they are all surprised. Graham proceeds to give the bride and groom a gift, though he doesn't say what it is. Unfortunately, they arrived late and missed the rehearsal. Meyer and Pete don't seem to care. Clarissa explains that they had to delay the flight because people kept asking for autographs. Kelly and Veronica are jealous, but pretend they are happy. Later on, they bother Chad with questions, and Veronica tries to flirt with him. Kelly, though, keeps asking questions about Chad and Clarissa's relationship. Chad tells them the story he and Clarissa came up with. Graham and Clarissa are also talking, and he also asks questions about their relationship, but he is worried about her. Clarissa is also worried about Graham dating Kelly. She used to bully him at school because of his weight. Graham then asks her if they are never going to talk about what happened at their graduation, when he told her he loved her, but Clarissa didn't know what to say because they were friends. Graham isn't happy about her excuse. Meanwhile, Chad sees them talking and asks Veronica and Kelly what was the story between them. Kelly says he's her boyfriend and that he and Clarissa were in love at school, but that he was chubby. Graham and Clarissa continue talking about the past, sharing their memories. Graham tells Clarissa that what he and Kelly have is not the same as what he and Clarissa used to have. Clarissa tells him he should try to be like that with her, and Graham reluctantly agrees. Then he asks if what she has with Chad is the same she had with him, or even better. Clarissa only answers that Chad is her fiancé. The actor comes back to their table, interrupting their conversation. Later, Clarissa and Chad go back to her parents' house, and her parents surprise them. It's their tradition to scare Clarissa when she comes home late. They are really excited about meeting Chad. Clarissa shows Chad her childhood room, which remains the same as when she was a teenager. Though she thinks it's creepy, Chad thinks it's great because he doesn't have the same at his aunt's house, because she's always changing his room. When they are alone, Clarissa tells Chad he's not sleeping in the room with her, and that there's a futon in another room for him. Chad agrees and leaves. In the following scene, Clarissa is coming down to have breakfast when she hears laughter and squeals of excitement. She catches her parents cooking with Chad, and is happy about it. Her dad tells her that Chad doesn't know how to make an omelet, and that he taught him. Chad shows Clarissa his omelet, which doesn't look great, and says that it's a piece of art. Clarissa's mom disagrees, but tastes the omelet and enjoys it. Clarissa also eats it and thinks it's good. Chad is happy. As they leave later, Clarissa tells Chad the schedule for the weekend. They are going to the beach, then to the bachelor's and bachelorette's parties. He tells her he has never been to a bachelor's party, and she answers that it's not like it is in the movies, and that it's all video games, junk food and burping contests, which Chad enjoys. Clarissa and Chad are friendly, different to what they were at the beginning. They arrive at the beach and separate to go to the individual parties. As Clarissa leaves, Chad's cell phone rings. It's Susie. She sent an angry message questioning if he gave Clarissa a wedding ring. He's confused about how she knew, and she appears right next to him, surprising him. She asks him again why he gave a ring to Clarissa, and he tells her he got carried away. She's really upset at him, but Chad is still confused about what she was doing there. She says she's his publicist, and it's her job to keep him from doing anything stupid. Then she admits she couldn't stand the thought of him and Clarissa together alone. She wants him to introduce her as his publicist, so she can be part of the wedding and watch him. When Chad and Clarissa are together with her friends again, at the pool, Kelly asks them how Chad proposed, but they hadn't thought of a story to that. So they are stumbling to answer, and in the end they confirm it was at Clarissa's work, which Kelly and Veronica think is romantic. Graham doesn't. He says it wasn't romantic. Kelly disagrees, and they argue a bit. Meyer intervenes saying that she thinks anyone can be romantic with the right person, even for small things like making breakfast. Clarissa remembers that Chad learned how to make an omelet. Kelly tells Graham that he could make omelets for her too, and he disagrees. He asks for backup from the other men, but they don't say anything. It's very uncomfortable, but it offers Chad the opportunity to introduce Susie. Susie and Clarissa meet, and when they shake hands, Susie doesn't let go of Clarissa's hand until Chad interrupts it. Then Susie invites everyone to go to the pool, and when she leaves, Kelly asks if she's the stripper for the bachelor's party. Maya tells Chad that she could come to the bachelorette's party if she wants to which Clarissa and Chad deny, but Susie hears and agrees. Later on, Susie and Maya seem to get along, and Kelly asks Clarissa if she had met Susie before, and she denies. Kelly then tells her that Susie was getting flirty with Chad at the beach, and Veronica adds that she's gorgeous. Clarissa doesn't seem to care and tells them to relax because she's married. Kelly doesn't believe her, and thinks maybe she's acting unbothered. Then she says that Chad has dated a lot of girls, to which Clarissa answers that Chad doesn't make her insecure. Kelly is surprised and says that Clarissa changed a lot from how she was in high school, but Clarissa is confused. Kelly clarifies that Clarissa used to be very insecure, but Clarissa disagrees. Veronica and Kelly tell her she used to bury herself in club activities and never went out with anyone. Clarissa answers that she used to hang out with Graham all the time, and Kelly tells her that she did it to feel better about herself. Clarissa is upset and asks Kelly if that's what she's doing with Graham then, and Kelly is also upset and tells her that Graham and her are good, and she's just worried about Clarissa. But Clarissa doesn't get what she's saying. Kelly thinks Chad is too good for her, because he's good looking and she's just her. Clarissa tells Kelly that she's wrong, that nothing has changed because she's still playing games with people's lives. When she leaves, Kelly is bothered. In the following scene, Chad is drinking champagne straight from the bottle when Clarissa arrives. Chad asks her why she isn't at the party since she's the maid of honor, and she answers that Susie has taken her spot because she knows how to have a good time. Chad sarcastically agrees, and Clarissa asks him if she's the one he's seeing. He questions if she's mad, because she looks mad, and she explains that it's just high school drama getting to her, with Kelly making her feel bad about herself. Chad asks if she's jealous about Graham, and Clarissa is surprised he noticed. Then she tells him that they used to be close, but now they weren't anymore, and that she freaked out when Graham told her he loved her. Chad thinks maybe he's with Kelly because he can't be with Clarissa, but she hopes he isn't. Chad is thoughtful. He asks Clarissa if she thinks people meet their perfect match, and she answers that her mom and dad did. Chad tells her that they probably worked hard to be in a relationship like that, because that's how it works. Then he says he wished his own parents worked hard too. They go on talking, with Chad asking how she felt about Graham, and Clarissa saying that she used to have feelings for him, but now everything is different. Chad calls her a heartbreaker, and they laugh. Chad thinks their fake relationship didn't turn out how he expected it to, and that he is actually having fun. Clarissa agrees, and admits he isn't how she thought he was. He says that they enjoy teasing each other, and that's what couples do. Then he asks her where she wants to go on her honeymoon, and she says that she wants to go on a road trip around the country in an RV, camping. Chad likes the idea. When they leave to go back to the hotel, they stare at each other for some time. Then Clarissa leaves. Chad is surprised by their chemistry. The other day, Chad knocks on Susie's door asking if she's coming to the wedding. She's hungover, and he's annoyed. Back at Clarissa's parents' house, her mom tells Chad he needs to start planning for his wedding, but Susie interrupts, asking for painkillers. Then she leaves to go grab some, which gives Chad the opportunity to talk to Clarissa's parents. They tell him that they eloped, and Chad is surprised. He tells them Clarissa's lucky to have them as her parents, and her mom answers that she's lucky to have him in her life, and that he's a good man. Clarissa comes down the stairs dressed up for the wedding, and she looks beautiful. Chad is amazed by her. At the wedding, Clarissa sees Meyer in her wedding dress and tells her she looks amazing. When they are alone, Meyer asks Clarissa what happened to her during the bachelorette's party, and Clarissa tells her that she got into an argument with Kelly about Graham. Meyer isn't surprised. Clarissa apologizes and tells Maya that she ended up meeting with Chad and they talked for a while. Maya makes a joke and they have a moment reminiscing their childhood and how they imagined their wedding days. Maya remembers that Clarissa used to say she was going to get married before her, then says that she's not too far from getting her big day. This bothers Clarissa, and she tries to tell Maya the truth, but they're interrupted by Kelly and Veronica. In the next scene, Maya is already happily married to Pete. There are a bunch of paparazzi outside the church, asking Clarissa questions about her relationship with Chad. She manages to handle the situation and they move on to the reception. Some time later, Jeanette calls Clarissa and tells her that the paparazzi posted pictures of her, and that she's famous now. Though Clarissa hates the situation, it's good for her career because Jeanette has 9 auditions for her. Clarissa is over the moon with the news. When she hangs up, Graham is waiting to talk to her. He tells her he's happy for her and she deserves it. Then he proceeds to tell her he's found out her relationship is fake through Susie. Clarissa tries to deny it, but Graham doesn't believe her, so she has no other option but to tell him the truth. She tells him everything. At the end, Graham thinks she likes Chad, but she keeps denying it. Then he reminds her of her own advice, to take a chance and get closer to him. Though Clarissa disagrees, she starts thinking about it. Graham and her end the conversation on good terms, and they agree that they wouldn't be good together. Chad arrives and tells Clarissa he was looking for her. They joke for a moment, and then Chad asks Clarissa to a dance. They dance and talk. The chemistry between them is palpable, and soon they are kissing. When the kiss ends, Clarissa asks Chad about the girl he's seeing. He gets flustered and tells her he got caught up in the moment. Clarissa agrees, but they keep staring lovingly at each other. Chad asks her about her auditions and she thanks him. He tells her there's no need for thanks because she's already given him something back. The opportunity to meet her friends and her parents. It was a vacation he needed. Clarissa says she also needed a vacation, but from herself. She explains that she used to feel insecure when she was younger, but not when she's with him. He tells her no one should make another person insecure. Unfortunately, before they could continue, Susie gasps loudly. She tells Chad her husband was caught cheating on her by the paparazzi. It is the perfect opportunity for her to get divorced and be with him. Clarissa watches it all play out, but Chad doesn't say anything to oppose Susie. Then, she suggests he gets on with the breakup. Chad asks her for a minute to talk to Clarissa, which she agrees to. But before she lets them talk, she asks Clarissa for the engagement ring back. Clarissa is upset when she gives it to her, and asks Chad if he's going to really marry her. They both say no. Susie sees this as the right moment for the big breakup and starts calling witnesses. Clarissa is mad, and before Chad can say anything, she raises her voice and tells him they should finish the deal. Everyone is confused at what is going on, and Chad explains that Clarissa was helping him out. Clarissa answers that like always, she was there to help someone, and that Chad would never go for her. Chad denies it, but Clarissa continues saying that nothing was real, it was just a fantasy. Chad is heartbroken. Clarissa tells him everything in his life is probably a fantasy, and he answers that at least he knows how he feels. After some more arguing, Clarissa storms out. Back at her parents' home, her mother asks her what happened and she tells her the truth. Her mother is upset that she lied, and questions Clarissa where Chad is, but Clarissa doesn't know. Her mother tells her she likes Chad and that he likes her back. Then, when Clarissa doesn't seem convinced, she tells her that she used to have a boyfriend and was only friends with Clarissa's dad, but that in the end they were together. She gives Clarissa more advice, and Clarissa apologizes for lying to her. Later, Maya stops by to talk to Clarissa. She tells her that she's mad at her because she didn't trust her enough to tell her the truth. But she also understood her feelings. They talk some more and then hug. When Maya leaves, Kelly and Veronica arrive, and Kelly apologizes to Clarissa for the way she talked to her. Clarissa accepts and they all hug it out. In the following scene, Jeanette tells Clarissa that she got a recurring role for a series. Clarissa is surprised, even more when Jeanette says that the director didn't know who she was and hired her for her talent. Jeanette advises Clarissa to leave her job at the cafe, and she does. But when she is there saying goodbye to Melody, Chad enters. Clarissa greets him, and he says he is there to congratulate her on her role, and that his agent wants to talk to her. She accepts, and Chad invites her for coffee. Clarissa asks about Susie, and Chad finally tells her they aren't together anymore. In the end, they start over by introducing themselves to each other again. And in the last scene, as a mirror of the scene of the movie they were working on together at the beginning, they kiss over coffee that isn't spilled.